This is Eat, Sleep, Invest, the marketing podcast for real estate investors to get more deals.
One thing I like that you said in there, you're not structuring your $15,000 down payment or how you're spending the money. I see a lot of people get so pigeonholed in investing. It's more go out and find the deal. Once you find a deal, you'll figure out how to purchase it and how to do that kind of stuff versus just thinking all these different ideas on scenarios that are never going to happen. It's like, go find a deal, because if you find a deal, the money will come. Private investors will come. The bank will lend you because you buy right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Now, the caveat to that, because you're 100% right, but the caveat is having the connections if you are ready to get that property. Let's say you got a deal, but you don't have any connections. You haven't worked on finding private money lenders. You haven't worked on finding hard money lenders, mortgage brokers, signature loans. Like, you haven't worked that out. Then you're going to be scrambling. It's going to be kind of hard. How much better would it be if you already had those people, those contacts already ready? The deal comes, like, great, I can call literally everybody to try to figure out what's the best way to take this deal down and fit everything together. Same thing with, like, let me give you an example of what building the business looks like. So if you're going to start a convenience store, candy bars and soda machines and all that good stuff, well, you're not going to sign a lease on a location, open the doors, set a box of candy bars in there on the ground. No, you wouldn't do that. You'll go out of business in 2 seconds. What you would do instead is you would build the business first. So you get the gondolas, those are the shelving units that all the candy bars go on. You get the countertops, cold storage, bank accounts, cash registers, insurance, employees, everything in the business before you buy any inventory. Then once the business is set up, then you buy the inventory and put it into your business. Same thing with real estate investing. We don't do anything in the business. Remember, I did it the wrong way without building the business first, and my property manager started stealing from me with 6 months. This is what it looks like if you're going to build the business first. Instead of calling the property manager, hey, property manager, I already bought number 1 Happy Street, just random address. I already bought this property, number 1 Happy Street. Will you manage it? I kid you not, a lot of times, no, the property manager will answer this. No, I won't manage that property because I'll get shot there. Like, well, you no longer have an asset anymore. You have a liability. How much better if you built a business, have the experts on the ground, and you call them up beforehand. Say, hey, property manager, I'm looking to buy this property, number 1 Happy Street. And they say, no, don't buy it because it's a bad area. But good, you saved all that time and money. Same thing, you would ask them, let's say they did like it. What will it rent for? What's my vacancy factor? What type of clientele would I get? And will you manage it? And a good expert would say something like this. Oh, yes, I know that area. In fact, that house, it's like 2 blocks away from another house. Zillow, that we currently manage, Zillow was saying $1,400 for a rent, but we tried. We couldn't get $1,400. We can only get $1,300. That is expert information that you must have. You can't trust. Zillow's not an expert. Redfin, Trulia, LoopNet, they're not experts. Who are the experts is the people literally on the ground there. So that's how we're able to build the business and scale it to where we can quit our job because we have everybody in the business working for us.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I'm a strong believer in property managers. So when I first got into real estate, like everybody else, I managed my own places. And I got into it even a little bit for a different reason too. I started meeting with people and letting them talk me into renting to them. And then 6 months later, I get a beat up house or they quit paying rent. So I like the property manager because they're a buffer. Like they're meeting with people and telling you, but you are right. You need to talk to those people because Zillow might say you get $1,400 a month rent and it really doesn't rent that because values in neighborhoods change street by street. So that's a big one there. I 100% agree.
I love property managers. In fact, I love having the property manager use me as the bad guy. I'm like, okay, you need to evict him or we need to raise the rents. It's just the way it is. Or whatever it might be. Property manager say, oh man, the landlord, that guy. Obviously, like I'm the landlord, my property manager, I am their customer, not the tenants. The tenants are not their customer. I am their customer, meaning they take care of me, but I am totally fine to have the property manager be that buffer, be that middleman saying, oh man, the landlord wants this. Okay. And so it removes that connection that you as a landlord do have because I managed some of my properties. Worst idea ever. I don't want to talk to tenants anymore. And with that, they would pull on my heartstrings. Oh man, my son got arrested again. He's in jail. I had to bail him out. Can I not pay the rent? I'd be like, oh yeah, I guess. But if I called up my mortgage company, like let's say, I don't know, Bank of America. Hey, Bank of America, my son got arrested. Can you not accept the mortgage? Can you bypass the mortgage this month? They're like, no, we're starting the foreclosure process right away. So we do is we build the business and then we set up the systems procedures and processes in the business so that we then have it work itself. In fact, a lot of people have heard of the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. The premise is you work 4 hours a week, or you try to make your life so you structure you can work 4 hours a week. Well, in my opinion, working 4 hours a week is for suckers. I don't want to work 4 hours a week. I don't even want to work 4 hours a month. I basically work 30 minutes a month. I grab my property management statements from all my property managers, make sure everything looks good, and then go back to play with my kids or come on podcasts and talk to great people like you, right? So having property managers, there's just so much better about it. But a lot of people have that little kind of thought, well, I'm wasting money paying for that property manager. Like, yes, you could look at it that way. Instead, look at it like it's just another expense that you account for before you buy the property, so you know it's paid for. You can always have it managed.
Yeah, 100%. So we're almost out of time. I got like 1 or 2 questions for you, though. First one, what are some of the top mistakes you see people making?
The top mistake, I would say, is, well, we talked about this a lot. The biggest one is not building the business first and then not finding your property manager. I'll give you an example of a lot of students when they're just getting started and they're all gung-ho, like, oh man, I found a great new city to invest in, let's say Ohio or Tennessee or whatever. I found a new city that has good inventory, the types of homes that we want to buy and also rent out for good rent. And they say, I already got 5 realtors looking at properties for me. I'm like, whoa, stop. If you bought a property, who would manage that property? They're like, yes, realtors, wholesalers, like they're great. We love those, but they're last. We have to do so much more in the business before we can buy any properties, because if you can't manage a property, if you can't fund getting financing for that property, if you don't have inspectors, if you don't have all that stuff ready before you get into a deal, everything else is going to fall apart. So the biggest thing is build the business first and then have the experts do the work for you.